Hello everyone, greetings from Storycorner at Bookmine, and I am Sudha Umashanker, and today I am going to tell you the story of Lord Ayyappa, or Ayyappa Swami as he is fondly known. A few days back I was at my favorite Ganesha temple doing my circumambulations when there was a Guru Swami, a senior person who has been to Sabarimala more than 7 times and is very familiar with the rules and the rituals, leading his group under him through the rituals and putting them through the paces, so to speak, and also leading the singing of bhajans in praise of Lord Ayyappa. And as the singing reached a crescendo and the words Swami Sharanam Ayyappa rent the air, I felt all that energy wash over me, and so here I am to tell you the story of Lord Ayyappa. Now, long ago, there was a king called Rajashekara, and he belonged to the Pandya dynasty, and he was ruling over a kingdom called Pandalam. And the king was a very just and wise sovereign, and he was loved by all his people. But the king had one longing, one ask, so to speak. He was childless and he wanted an heir to succeed after him. So he and his wife prayed fervently to Lord Shiva. Now, one day when the king was out on a hunting expedition, he came to a place very close to the river Pampa, and he wanted to just relax for a bit. So he sat down on the banks and he took in the scenery, the beautiful scenery around him, the gurgling waters and all the sights and sounds. And as he was in a very introspective frame of mind, he suddenly heard the cry of a baby. The king was very surprised as to how a baby would be found at this location, but anyway he followed the sounds and he came to a spot where he saw a little baby kicking and flinging its arms and shaking its legs, and the child had a very divine and beatific look on its face. The king was absolutely spellbound, and he was also a little perplexed because he didn't know what he was supposed to do. Was he supposed to take this child or just leave it there? And just then a sadhu materialized, and he told the king that this child was born into the Kshatriya dynasty and that he was capable of mitigating all the sufferings of the world. And he also told the king that he could take the child home, and that at the age of 12 the king would find out the real identity of this child. So the king was very happy and he took the child home to his wife, and they showered all their love on this little baby, who grew up into a fine young boy. And soon they found a guru for him, and the guru tutored him in all spiritual matters, in martial arts, and The child was very smart and quick on the uptake, so he was very agile of mind, and so he learnt everything very, very fast. And so the Guru was very impressed at having such an intelligent disciple. And then later, when the child was old enough, he wanted to offer the Guru his dakshina, and he asked him, he told him about his will and desire. Now the Guru told him that he was a very divine child, and that he was born into this world for a purpose. And he said, the Guru said, I have just one request to ask of you, and that is, if you could grant the gift of vision and speech to my child who lacks both of these. So by the grace of this young boy, the Guru's child gained his eyesight and the power of speech, and the little boy told him that he was not to disclose this to anybody. So then a few years later, the queen had a son of her own, and he was called Rajarajan. Now the king saw the way this little boy was growing up. His name incidentally was Manikandan, because a sannyasi had told the king that since the child is born with a bell around his neck, a golden bell, he should be called Manikandan. The king, seeing the way Manikandan was shaping up and looking at all the skills he possessed and the divine streak in him, wanted to anoint him as his heir very soon. But then there was one person in the kingdom who was dead against it, and that was the Divan. Because the Divan had all along been thinking that since the king didn't have any heirs, he would not naturally succeed to the throne, and now his dream was spoiled. So he tried numerous tricks, including poisoning Manikandan and trying to harm him in various ways, but none of that had any effect. So his next plan was to work on the queen's mind and poison her mind. And so he told the queen that since she had a son of her own called Rajarajan, it was only fair that he should be the heir to the throne and not Manikandan, who was found in a forest. So he hatched a very wicked plan. He told the queen that she should feign a certain kind of strange illness where she suffered excruciating stomach pains, and that he would engineer a plan whereby the royal physician would inform the king that this was a very mysterious illness, and that only the milk of a tigress would be able to cure her. So now this plan panned out with the queen feigning her stomach pains, and the physician coming in and announcing that the only thing that could cure her of this illness would be the milk of a tigress. So the king was very sad and upset, but then he was determined to do everything to see that the queen became all right. So he got ready to dispatch a number of his men to the forest to get the milk of a tigress. Now when Manikandan heard about this, he told his foster father, King Rajashekara, that he was willing to go to the forest and go and get the milk for the queen. But King Rajashekara thought he was too young and that he can't be sent alone. So he got ready with getting things organized to dispatch his men. But then Manikandan asked the king to give him a promise. The king didn't think twice and said, "Yes, I grant you your promise." And Manikandan said, "I should be allowed to go." So the king had no way of backing out. So he at least wanted to send some of his men with Manikandan, but he declined that offer as well. And so Manikandan set out into the forest all by himself with whatever food items that his father had packed for him, in search of a tigress from whom he could get the milk that would cure the queen. So as he proceeded towards the forest, he heard that there was a demon called Mahishi, and she was the sister of Mahishasura. Mahishasura was a very wicked demon who wreaked terror on the heavens and on earth, and until because he had received a boon of immortality from Brahma, and finally all the gods went to Brahma and beseeched him, and that's when Durga was goddess Durga was given all the powers by the pantheon of gods, who also gave her a huge armory with which she fought a bitter battle and killed Mahishasura. Now Mahishi, the sister of Mahishasura, was very, very angry about this, and she wanted to get even with the gods for doing this to her brother. So she did severe penance to Brahma, and she received a boon whereby she could only be killed by a child born to Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, and she was on the rampage. Now when Manikandan heard about this demon, he decided, and she was in Devaloka, and he decided to go to Devaloka and vanquish her. So he went to Devaloka. There were bitter battles that were fought, and then he flung her from Devaloka back to the earth, and then when she landed with a thud, he danced on her, and then she realized who he was, and that he was the child born to Shiva and Vishnu in his avatar as Mohini, and she breathed her last as he was dancing on her chest. Now this very Manikandan is Lord Ayyappan. He was born to Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Ayyan and Appan mean Lord and Father. So, and this was the purpose, initial purpose of his birth, and he had accomplished the first part of this mission for which he was created. So then Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu watched this fight from far off, and then Lord Shiva was very happy, and he told Manikandan, "Now that you have done this, you now have to accomplish the second task, which is go back to your father with the milk of a tigress, because he is very, very anxiously waiting for your safe return. So Lord Shiva dispatched Lord Narendran, who came in the guise of a tigress. And so Ayyappan, Manikandan, he is also known as Dharma Shastra, the protector who upholds Dharma, the righteous one, and he is the Lord of Sabarimala. So he rode on the tigress and arrived at the back in the kingdom at his foster father's palace. Now all the people in the kingdom were very surprised to see this young boy return with a real tiger, because they thought this child was incapable of doing anything and that at best he would return with a toy tiger. But they found that he had returned with a real live tiger, and that was the day he turned 12. And strangely enough, the same sannyasin who had told King Rajashekara when he spotted Manikandan as a baby in the forest, materialized once again and told him that this boy Manikandan is indeed Ayyappan, and this is his divine purpose. Now the king then disclosed to Manikandan that soon after he went to the forest, the stomachache of the queen had just vanished, and that it was all a plan hatched by the divan, and that he should accord a suitable punishment to the divan. But Manikandan told his foster father that it would not be necessary, and that there was a divine, everything was ordained as per divine will, and now that his task had been accomplished, it was time for him to go back to where he belonged. The king had one request to make of Manikandan, and he asked him that he would like to build a temple for him, so that he could keep all these memories alive, and he wanted guidance on the spot where he should construct the temple. And Manikandan shot an arrow, and that arrow landed at Shabari, the hill, where in the era of Lord Rama there was a sannyasin called Shabari, who had meditated and performed a great deal of penance. Manikandan also told his father that if devotees who come to his temple observe severe penance, a vrata for 41 days, where they lead a life of abstinence and stay away from meat and liquor, and learn to sleep on the floor, and carry a bundle on their heads, like he did when he went to the forest, which is why devotees setting out for Sabarimala carry on their heads what is called the irumudi, which is a bundle with two compartments. One has all the items needed for puja, including the sacred coconut, which is defibered and drained of all the water and filled with ghee and sealed which is the ghee is supposed to symbolize the soul, and the ghee or clarified butter is very sacred because it is also used to perform an abhisheka for Ayyappa. The Ney Abhishekam is a very, very important ritual. So, Manikandan told his foster father that if devotees follow all these procedures and for 41 days, they will surely have his grace. So the king, and he said his task on earth had been accomplished, and he went back to where he belonged. And the king started constructing the temple at the location shown, and he also constructed, they had the 18 steps constructed, and but he was a bit perplexed when he was faced with the challenging task of having an idol crafted to be installed in the temple. And that is where the words of Manikandan or Ayyappan came back to him. He had told him that the Pampa, the river Pampa, is as sacred as the river Ganga, and Shabari is equivalent to Kasi. So, and he also dispatched Lord Parashurama to craft the idol of Lord Ayyappa, which was installed on Magara Sankranti, or the day of Pongal, in the temple. That is also the day when the Magara Jyoti, a celestial star, is sighted at Sabarimala, and it is said that those who sight the Magara Jyoti are truly deserving of Lord Ayyappa's grace. So the king accomplished this mission. It is also said that Kerala was lifted by Lord Parashurama from the depths of the ocean right up to Sabarimala, which is one of the tallest hills in the hills surrounding the area. So with the number of devotees increasing, many facilities have been provided, and today millions of devotees go to see the Magara Jyoti, and also in the run-up right from November, the influx of pilgrims is very, very high. The 18 steps are supposed to symbolize the conquering of various negative qualities like kama, krodha, lobha, lobha, all the negative qualities, and they also symbolize the conquering of the senses, and at another level it also symbolizes surrender, because Lord Ayyappa, if you might remember, was a great warrior. He was very skilled in the martial arts, and he vanquished a demon like Mahishi, and he had 18 different kinds of weapons, and it is said that when he entered the sanctum, he had surrendered all the weapons, just like we are expected to surrender and give up all the negative qualities. So he is a celibate as far as the Sabarimala temple is concerned. There's an interesting story around why he remains unmarried and is a bachelor god. It was because he once freed another lady called Leela from a curse by her husband, and once she was freed from the curse, she grew very fond of Manikandan, or Lord Ayyappa, and wanted to marry him, but he said he refused, and he said that he will not be able to marry her because he has come here with a purpose, and he is celibate. He has to go back into the forest. But since she was very, very persistent, he told her that the day when no Kanya Swami, that is a Swami coming, a devotee coming to Sabarimala for the first time, doesn't show up at the temple, that would be the day that he would marry her. Of course, there is a temple for Mallika Purathamma, she is called, very close, and there is never a day when there is no new devotee at Sabarimala. So he remains a celibate god as far as Sabarimala is concerned, and he continues to grace, shower his grace on his true devotees and wash away all their sins. Thank you for listening to this story. There's so much more to tell you about it, but it's not possible in this shorter time. I hope you liked what you heard. Thank you for tuning in. Please do like and subscribe to our channel so that you can listen to all our other stories, and it will also be a great source of encouragement to us at Storycorner at Bookmine.